Welcome to episode 43. Hello and welcome. This episode is all about mudguards. For this build, I've just gone with a couple of aftermarket fiberglass, fairly random components. I bought them on eBay. They're not for the R80. They're just, I think I just googled sort of cafe racer parts, I think. One is like a sort of a hugger type thing in a single arc, and the other one is a bobbed front fender. So they're just fiberglass off eBay, and I need to make them fit. Let's get on and do that. There are two more pieces for the back of the bike. There is a mudguard, which I need to work out how to put on, a mudguard holder, and then a number plate, which I'm going to mount, I think, on the back of this shock. So let's start with the rear mudguard. Okay, I think the way I'm going to do it is attach that back end somehow to the swing arm there, and then some kind of support from this breather valve here. I think that's how I'm going to do it. And to aid me with my support, I've got some aluminium bar, which I think I'll use to somehow fashion a support for that. And I've got a fatter piece of bar, which I'll use to do something around that swing arm. Yeah. Okay. Right, to aid me in my creation, I've just bought some aluminium and steel bar, well, flat strips really. Aluminium because it's light and strong, steel because it's more malleable. So I have a feeling I'll use the aluminium for the upright, and I'll use the steel to bend around the swing arm. And I'll do that bit first, I think. I think the aluminium will not enjoy being bent as much. Anyway, let's see how we go. Right, back wheels off, clearly. So now it's just a task of bending this round this curve, which I'll do by hand actually. I mean, how else would you do it? Look at that. That's great. Okay, so I need to bend a couple of right angles on that first of all. Righty. So this is my crudely formed bracket. Essentially that'll go over the swing arm, and I'll put that in there like that. So what I need to do is make a rough one of those and then cut that off. Yeah. That's good. And then my M6 bolt will fit through there. I'll put the second bolt hole in when I know how far down that's going. Okay, just pop the wheel back on, and then I'll put my newly fashioned bracket on there quickly. See how it goes. It kind of fits there, like so. Mark with a Sharpie. Where the hole's going to go. And drill it out too. And there it is. So let's pop that on the machine and see how it goes. And see where that's going to sit. I think it's going to sit about there. Kind of like that. Right, one thing to do here is try it out. Okay, I have a hole now in my mudguard. Let's try and mock this up, and if this works, I'll spray the job in. So, I think we want this from this end, don't we? Okay, some more change of plan. I'm going to use this post to support the rear mudguard. Marked out roughly there where I need to make a hole. I will say actually as well, I'm going to use this rear post to put this bracket on for the number plate, but more of that later. Okay. So, I think that's a 12mm hole around there. Let's do that. Okay, so there's me thing with the hole in. That's going to go over there. It needs bending in. A couple of steps. But that's a good start, yeah. Right then, I'm just bending it by hand, sticking it in the vise, giving it a tweak. Here's the hard bit though, I need to make this fit that, and I'm literally just bending it by hand. You see where it comes in there, like that. So I made a mark there. That needs to be straightened. Just going to go and put a little kink in that. Back in a sec. I think that's pretty close, actually. So what I'll do, I'll be putting a small screw through there, a small bolt through there, small bolt through the side. I'll hold that in place. I think that's us done. Aluminium, that one, that's good. Let's just trim the end off, which I'll do now. Okay, that's broadly it. So now I'm going to go and paint it black. I've been having major issues with this, which was the bracket I made to fit the back mudguard on. Basically, just too big. My original design, if you recall, this bent, so that hole went through that hole, and that kind of, but I just couldn't get it to behave essentially. So here's the Mark II version, which is a lot smaller. This is aluminium. I've been able to get a tighter radius on it by bending the aluminium round a can. The can suffered a bit of damage during the activity, but there you go, bent it around the can, and that's a much better fit on my swing arm. Also, because this has got quite a small tab on it, it will go in the gap on the bike, so I can actually get this on and off the swing arm relatively easier. Relatively easier? Is that a real word? Relatively easily. Let me show you. Righty. So this goes on like this. That fits on nicely. I'll just freestyle it. Yeah, so when it's got rubber on it, it'll be quite a good fit. And then I've made a hole, whoops, there in my rear mudguard. So I'm just going to bolt that to that bottom hole and show you what I mean. Okay, so very roughly, it looks like that. I've just bolted the bottom one on for now. You can see how that goes, can't you? That's roughly, it needs a bit of straightening up. That's roughly how that goes on the bike. A bit of trimming required. So I will just mark that up, drill it, and then I'll paint my bracket black. So there's the bracket in place. That's quite good. That's fairly sturdy. It's quite central as well, which is good. I'll show you that. Yeah, that kind of works. Let me just explain what I did here. I wanted to get both anchors on the swing arm so that when the swing arm moves, this whole thing is one. Because I had an option, of course, of attaching it to these fixed posts here. But the movement in the swing arm would cause me trouble. So that's why I've gone with that swing arm mounted mudguard. Now I do notice that a lot of these cafe racers don't, or a lot of R80s rather, that from Cafe or whatever, don't have a rear mudguard, and it's probably because it's the right chew on to do. There you go, that's my version. Hope you like it. Okay, you see this little mark here? I've just marked it with my Sharpie. I'm going to drill a little hole so I can put a bolt through there. I've done the same on the other side. That's to secure my upright. Right, here it is painted up. I've also popped in some of that rubber, that thin rubber, just inside there, just to make sure that it doesn't move around on a swing arm. What's great about this is it kind of just fits on in here without me having to bend it. I'll show you. Okay, so it slides in like that, or rather like that. Look at that, fits in beautifully. And then that'll go on there, and once that's timed it shouldn't move much. I'm going to take the wheel off in order to fit it properly, so because fiddling around here is quite hard, so I'll take the wheel off. This front mudguard needs to sit under the fork brace, so I've undone that already. Take that off. Bing. Right then, the small snagette. It's going that way. Just a tight old fit I might add. Come on, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay. Hopefully you can see there. The small snag is these bosses here that hold the fork brace on actually sort of prevent the mudguard from coming up high enough. So what I'm going to do, you'll see I've drawn them on. I've drawn out where I need to cut out some little parts of the mudguard to allow that to go proud of these bosses and be able to be bolted into the fork brace. Is the plan. So this is my scribblings on the side. I originally was going to cut out that whole piece, but actually I'll just cut out these squares now. I need a Dremel or something similar to do that, which I actually don't have. I might have to go and buy one. And that should allow it to sit proud. However, what I will say is that's not exactly the right profile. Can you see that? Not sure if you can. If that sits there, it's not exactly the right profile. So a bit of thought required as to how I'm going to do that. Right, I've made a small investment. 30 quid from Halfords. That's alright, isn't it? Anyway, let's have a go, see how it works. Righty, so that's me mudguard kind of got with holes in. Got to work out a way now of attaching that to that. I kind of have this idea. Using my metal rod, I think I can bend that to somehow attach to those bolt holes there, or even there. So am I going to go with that? Yeah, so basically on the inside, bend that to follow the surface of that, and then the outside, you need to bend those up slightly, 90 degrees, and then again to catch those bolt holes. Let's go with that. Okay, paint them up and we're good to go. Okay, give it a bit of a rub down before I spray it up, but just so you can see how this is going to work. That's going to sit across there like so. one at the front, one at the back. That's my plan. Couldn't it? Right then, spray up time. And here are my sprayed up and finished mudguards. They look pretty good, don't you think? Liking those. Right, this is a setup for my front fender. Front, back. So what I've got is, for the inside, I've got a little plate which I've got front and back on. So what I'll do is I'll pop a bolt through there, like so. One of these I've marked front, which is that one. Just make it out on there, can't you? Like so. Okie dokie. And then the other one. You'll notice I've made some schoolboy errors with this. Actually, I think that's the right one, isn't it? I do believe so. So yeah, schoolboy error. I think we measure once, drill twice is the motto. Back is that way around. Luckily, that hole is kind of tucked away, otherwise I'd have to fill it and start again, really. Okay. Look at that. Genius. I'll just pop these screws in just to hold the right position. Okay, so this is all just all loose at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten these up while the wheel is loose. I've got access under here. I'll tighten those up and then I will put the fork brace back on. Okay. Fork brace time. Right, that's the mudguard on. Time to reinstall the front wheel. Righty, so I have to do the bottom one first. Put that through there. Using this as a bit of a stand. So then we have a washer on nylock nut. So that's good because that's now all on the swing arm. The whole thing is one piece. Come on. Yep. There you have it. Yeah. That's actually pretty cool, gotta say. There's the connection inside. Yeah, it's good that. That's not bad, is it? It's not bad at all, that. Quite pleased with that. We have mudguards. Well, hey, that's us done for another week. Hope you liked it. You know what to do. Like, subscribe if you haven't, tick the bell, questions, comments, all that stuff. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.